Hey everyone, I want to make something clear today. When I talk about the Zionist regime, I am talking about Jewish supremacy. So there's this concept in Jewish culture of Zionism, meaning the right for the Jews to have self-determination. That's a great thing. When people are talking about the Zionist regime, we are talking about the elitist people at the top who control banks, and they happen to be ethnically Jewish. Okay. Now, they don't represent all Jews. It's a very complicated word because a Jew it means like the ethnicity, like an Arab, right? There's a Jew, there's an Arab, but Jew can also mean the religion. And within the religion, you have moderate Jews that follow the Torah and Mosaic law and beautiful, peaceful ways of life. And then you have an extremist faction that follows the Babylonian Talmud. So not a lot of Jews who are secular and moderate know what's actually written in the Babylonian Talmud. I've had a few conversations with my Jewish friends and they're like, that's not in there. I'm like, oh, believe me, go to Sefaria, read this. So a lot of Jews aren't aware of the supremacist faction within their culture. So when I'm talking about the Zionist regime, I'm obviously not talking about all Jews. There's secular Jews, there's moderate Jews, but there is an extremist faction that follows the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud. And they are, like you have Christians that believe the Bible literally, right? So moderate Jews will look at the Talmud and go, that's not literal. But the problem is that there's a lot of supremacist Jews that look at it, the Talmud, and think, yeah, that's literal. And the danger of believing the Talmud literally is that it's a scripture. So most Abrahamic religions and say, that you have your God and he's picked you and you're his chosen people, right? And like Christians think like, okay, anybody who doesn't believe in Jesus is going to hell. Okay, that's misguided thinking in my opinion. But the scripture also tells them that they have to respect another person's belief. The scripture is inherently peaceful. It's a scripture of love. So regardless of the fact that you might think I'm saved and you're not saved, your Messiah also tells you not to hurt others, okay? Same as in the Quran. The Quran is a peaceful text. The problem with the Talmud, however, is that it's a warring text. It's like the person who takes that book literally is that you are chosen, you're the greatest race, and everybody else is an animal. And it doesn't say, hey, now respect that religion and let them do what they want to do and live in peace. It says, go kill them. That's what the order is in the Talmudic, Babylonian Talmud. That the order is to go kill the others. And that they have to be cut down. Okay, so that's the problem, and why there's always been a problem throughout Abrahamic history, is that, and people are quoting the 1988 Hamas Charter as if, where it says, we have to annihilate the Jews. Yeah, okay, and I'm not a defender of Hamas at all, but I'm saying they wrote that charter in response to being occupied in Palestine for, at that point, quite a few decades. And you can replace the word Jew with supremacist Jew, because that's the only kind of Jew they've had the experience of. They're under the yoke and oppression of supremacist Judaism. So a lot of Americans think that the problematic supremacy ideology at play today is white supremacy. It's not. It's Jewish supremacy. It's Jewish supremacy. And unless we call that out, and unless we know and we say, you know what, the core, the kernel of where the empire, this elitist warring regime that has us against each other, unfortunately, is ethnically Jewish. And unfortunately, they are Jewish supremacists. Okay, so now that doesn't speak for all Jews, of course not. And most Jews don't even know this is happening. And they are hiding behind Jews. Okay, but that's the reality. That's the reality. And we can't play that game of, oh, the elites, the nebulous entity that nobody knows their name. Who are they? I can tell you exactly who they are because their scripture is the Talmud, and it's literally the playbook for genocide. The Talmud is the playbook for genocide. The Talmud doesn't respect other religions. You see, before, Jews, Palestinians, Arabs, Christians, all of them were living in peace in Palestine. But when the Zionist regime arrived and they started to oppress and demoralize and dehumanize the Palestinians because their text tells them that those are animals. See, Quran doesn't say other people are animals. The Bible doesn't say other people are animals. Neither does Torah. Okay, but the Talmud does. So Jews, you need to wake up and you need to remove the supremacist faction operating behind you, using you. And this Babylonian Talmud has been at play since the Jews were in exile in Babylon. They came back. It's a black magic book. It's a book of utter destruction. That's the source of the Zionist regime. It's not a nebulous entity. Who are they? No one will ever know. These families, who are these families? They're ethnically Jewish. That's a reality. That doesn't speak for all Jews. That doesn't mean I'm an anti-Semite. That doesn't mean I don't support Israelis. My supervisors, two of my greatest supervisors who have taught me somatic work and inner engineering are Israelis. They currently live in Israel. I love them. I check on them every day. I love them. They are beautiful souls. So that doesn't make me an anti-Semite. It means I'm educating my people who are Israelis, Palestinians, and that whole territory, that the actual elites have a name, they have an ethnicity. Unfortunately, it's Jewish. Sorry, that's just a reality. But they follow a Babylonian Talmud. And most Jews, if they knew what that Babylonian Talmud said and they knew what these dudes were doing, would absolutely never agree with that. Because Jews are gorgeous people. I'm talking about the faction. Okay.